Mr. Lynch, nice, only be nice forever. Good morning, Mr. Master, Mr. Simply. Mr. Master, Mr. Simply. More simply, 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 day. Stay not it's April 13th, 2026. It's Monday in April. Today, I didn't see clear, but to see Bailey middle, today middle discussion, cioè per me è middle, se equivalente to variable, pratically a day, infatti clear some of the alternative video to Claudio Scali discussion, general, viceversa, si mette in case today, and it's really after it's year 13 and 20 minutes 68 final 20 Celsius in this minute really software use for software packages use for spring appearance supports of RSQ as you can see fact channel for years so use 17 so that creator can first weather was last past summer last past winter now also for me spring coming down so around all the seasons it's a complete all the seasons so recovery as the first thing the spring is only a few weeks winter only a few weeks ago and we are much better as you know much better than me and here in Italy we are at 10 1 as apps no le hanno finché poi sono poi ci viene così I'm sure that I said the music synchronism these things for him at the society sometimes not opposed the issue the Chinese better no reps per to me and in this minute the issue for the summer the autumn the winter in fact the summer su eserciti foto auto anche in eserciti for winter eserciti quello sono tasi già così se si pensa praticamente as a graduate degree, so this me also things include absolutely incomplete. Yes, practically since 9-10 days we can say this. In fact, we can complete because inside 9-10 days, practically since April 4-5, it officially starts. And we can say the spring because since that day we have the perfect climate temperature for spring here in this city. In general in Italy, anche in particolare in questi siti, while the day previous pratica in April 3rd, 4, let's say April 2nd, 3rd, before once again, March 20th, it was still cool here, but I don't feel cool, perhaps no, easier, thanks to thing I also repeat in my winter weather reports, not only this year, also past years, but the fact that I don't feel cool, but feel cool less RPO, because I saw back following this in some years, to ask particular to which in fact I was started for cool, and so for this I didn't feel cool also in the previous days until March 20th. So yes, however, in this period for me, general good. Type it, we officially, we can see it started this spring for us since April 4-5. Inizia la fatta scatto setta sfiangiato e non no, perché sembra che c'è solo niente, scusa, tutto completo, infatti invece siamo finiti. Ingrid affinché te reparazioni si ripeti sti fuori. Si create fare a 20 Celsius. Hat, important che atmosfera resta ci vedi. Si fuori vedi sa. Essere se cortine sono quando se cortine in generale se mi pensate a sciogli se atmosfera at least suppose in fact che sono tanti ripeti sky I on one end why you really say to evidence visible scans the channel it's not possible because the so these clouds e in fact according consigli tendono sono gli esteri but say last weeks not last weeks previous this the last one last one previous we were most of the clear all the days vabbè considering according what they do considering my certain things I think it's possible that in written it after it's really left might became I think totally cloudy and also that material and if mountains set to the seems remote possibly but as well as no student for giants of that is also seen it's clear significantly very clear oh well bad I think perhaps counter bad well at ma Benjamin let's say well max at was a little bad but I know in general well bad and bad well so see so from mythical window at curting fast on long flowers mix Francis in curting sast on the one getting some also birthday press curting particular the third party curting only for the noise it was the best curting was a beautiful grey curtain beautiful painted way branches at tip on the bus in fact from best curtain new losing the matter so you them in comments on the section it's a pointed there the system to automatic or one of them is really comment section where I don't know if you can see what I started well if it's a shot near me one and one side of yes see the green flowers along the flowers mixed runs. However, I don't know, in fact, if not, even better, Julie better, I should play the first part of the video, which I really should do, dove tra scatto sia in Japanese, con this classico mito quindi, classico mito, as raps non lo so, amico, quindi era amico Roma. Or from a web perspective, also from Israel, perché similar to the classical shot of him on Terse, if not mystically on November 1, so it should be in November 1, so two, if not for this year, it not should be Ilion two for the British curtain, once again repeat beautiful grey curtain, beautiful painted benches, perhaps also first curtain story reports, the color curtain, if enter max at least, among other things, the color curtain, sustaining cover image, one day, vabbè, should change it. I was saying this shot so release effect buff and release technology should and also this but more when release the effect is image and also read a little picture sent so you see I was supposed to scrutiny repeat once again beautiful recording beautiful painted branches also you repeat once again for the first routine story for the report guy working info so you repeat once again and on the comic set this and also it see read it also in routine sorry but I repeat che special also in case for times this one is little picture synthesis but also always better visible for me needs entirety rinisi shot sequence mythical legend shot si guarda che riuscito in ottimismo, fatto mistake ottimismo questo is last October, it's important that also is optimism and also ready test picture sentence for the ultimate so vale also for it. So I repeat once again, but also always better visible for me in its entity, in its shot, tipo mythical legend shot. And finally, from my mythical keyboard and my GX640 PG 635 also uses Mega shot. And since a few weeks also from another shot back on January 24th, it was a Saturday and my writing was also the birthday, 80th of so Michael Onto, che ne creato Michael Onto also known as one of the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department and Truman, the contrary, vice versa, one the same thing, the same person, and my writings I also dedicated to him. First version, video 1, which is the first version, my interpretation of the track, I do recommend it if you want to use it through masterpiece, Josie and Truman for Twin Peaks Season 2. And but for the fact, yes, originally was dedicated only to him, but for the fact that I uploaded it to last March 22, I also dedicated it to Master Angel Patent Apprentice birthday, 90 birthday basis, in fact March 22, and if there as March 22, on December 11, 22, and also Mr. Lynch's birthday, 4 days before my volunteer, January 10th, so much for me, also in case eternal 80 years, so that and so practically now I dedicated it to all of them. But for the fact I also should provide a video with video 2 with other 2 versions, surely 2 versions, also 3 versions, but it should be 2 versions in the next few days. I'm thinking also dedicated this video 2 also to John Chen or Joshi Packard, because in this case one is in the same thing. The person John Chen's birthday, because in fact from April 26 will be her 65th birthday, so I think I dedicated this video to with other 2 versions also to her. And where for the moment for the first version si vede che minchia buona channel, e questo si commenta as a reference, also the second only one of them, where was the thing with this one shot, you can see the accord condition for the equipment, but accord conditions in December 2nd, 24, in fact since the 3 practically is a main problem on the equipment effect is on light on the display, and also other the problems better than the problem, but the main problem repeats effect is on light on the display, and one day and every time I try to fix it. Everything on the people follow Charlie Course, everything I do, what's your name? So myself was because I'm fine, yeah, you will have to breakfast. Eats, meat in general, also nice to fancy little bit of ice, not at all, but as a meeting interesting in general, not at all, but as a meeting interesting, better to my part. So, okay, it's sweet in general, or for the people, but all for my record, not for my so I cannot tell us for my breakfast. At the same winter period, between December and January, since February, less than both since March, April, since the spring, once again, next December and January, and vedere in genere except for those days in which I get up really late, not the piece of the day. It's late, but all in parts it's very regular actions and to solve in fact because it's intention to be to restart with ti finta marti in chimica ti finta parti mette su adesso so che regole si cose non ti so straggio lo ripeto la tua cosa si carriera tu sono ma no yes just for just story just ancora 13 la tua di music but the important issue is that it's a bit so important to so and then as we are to see breakfast and most business food absolutely nella sua senza si fa in parla mia finché parla mia ho solo sto conto single che record di scusi but breakfast si the reason fries si può the new reason is six reason since six reason the visual dark blue white in the custom sono forse provate mix musica da che la blu per aspetto suonando se forse suona sempre reason non solo forse rimane di termine finché music mix in circa 19 so io sono attenti di non riuscire in tinte yes, all things happen on price of the report. People bodies no one which and means with reports. But yes, this should be done. We have to use it one day or one time in a time to get this get to the interest of these things in switch. Should use a Friday and for some shots of the news to check to but for me and so I have this fair I'm able to come to beautiful business and see as think that all best mathematical ci produce o da cui si shock c'è così mi fa tempo sì che si fa